Rev up your engines!
Well, one of my viewers sent me a clip of Doug Demuro insulting me. I thought it was rather hilarious. Him and two other guys are talking, and they're just, yuppies. What do you expect from yuppies? And they said, Doug Demuro says, people say to me, I only watch you and Scotty Kilmer. And he says, what? Are you insane? Why do you watch them? And then they all talked about, why do people still watch them? Huh? Okay, well, I give knowledge to people, right? Something these people don't understand. I'm almost twice his age. I'm 71, he's 36. So I think I have knowledge and I imbue it to people. I'm not like him. I didn't work for Porsche selling rich sports cars to rich people. These people live in their car world. They don't fix them. They just ride around them. They don't know anything about them. Why would people watch somebody like me? I mean, why? I only got 56, now 57 years experience of fixing things, telling you what's good, what's bad. I'm trying to give practical advice to most people in the world. Average people who want not to get ripped off, right? They're not going out and buying a $2.6 million Ferrari to inflate their ego. I guess they have small egos to begin with, so they got to blow it up. I don't worry about that. Mine's perfectly fine. I can drive around in 30-year-old cars. Doesn't matter to me. I'm out here to help people out now. They're not helping anybody else except making money for themselves. I mean, he's also got a thing where they sell cars, and everyone knows used car dealers are like the bottom of the rung. If you ask anybody, who's the person you would trust the least, it would be somebody who sells used cars, right? Now, I check out used cars for people free to tell them it's good, it's bad, warn them what not to get, tell them what a good one is, how to save people money, right? I'm not selling anybody a car. That's a dirty business, right? So it's no wonder that people like that don't understand why people would watch me, because they live in a different world. I think it's more like the world of Idiocracy, like the movie that the guy who did Beavis and Butthead, Mike Judge, did, where in the future people got dumber and dumber and dumber. Well, they live in that world. I live in an old world where intelligence is used to help people out, not to sell them expensive crap that they really don't need. Well, the chief financial officer of Stellantis is telling their staff that they have to slash their spending as the doghouse days return. Well, a lot of people wouldn't even understand what a doghouse is. Back in the day, the old joke was, if the husband didn't do what the wife wants, he was in the doghouse, meaning he'd have to go outside and live in the house that was built for the dog who lived outside. Now, most dogs today live inside. They live pampered lives. So most people today, modern people, they don't even know what a doghouse means. But be that as it may, they're telling people, you got to slash spending. You got to slash spending. You can't keep spending money. Well, guess what? Because Stellantis is going down the toilet. They make crappy vehicles. It's a French-Italian business right off the bat. It's telling you there's probably going to be problems, right? Now they can't get rid of their Jeeps in the United States. Nobody's buying them. They're piling up. And, of course, they're pushing their electric vehicles. It's not as if their regular vehicles were bad enough. Their electric vehicles are even worse. They make some of the worst hybrid vehicles out there, Stellantis. Trying to sell them on people, and then they buy them and they break down. I just talked to a guy, went to a Jeep dealer, and his friend was a mechanic there, and he says, people, they finally buy these electric hybrid cars that we have. Hey, they're back in a few weeks or months because they're breaking, and we got to fix them again, because, of course, the mechanic knows, and his friend was a mechanic, so he told him the truth. He's known him since high school. But they need to slash spending in their offices. That's going to solve Stellantis' problem. I don't think it's going to solve anything, right? It's too much the fantasy world these executives live in, Oh, we'll put you in the doghouse. They've watched too many cartoons, if you ask me. TP Throw says, I got a 2019 Kia Sorento with 102,000 miles, 3.3 V6. When they start it up, sounds like a tractor, and then it mellows out. I find it might be the timing chain tensioner. What do you think? Okay, well, it could be the timing chain tensioner. It could even be simpler. What I'd advise you to do first is this. ATS for flushing your engine. It's ATS engine flush. Buy a bottle of that, follow the directions, you pour it in your engine, then you rev it up to about 2,000 RPM with a fan in front of the car for about half an hour, then you shut it off, then you change the oil and filter. Sometimes the timing tensioner gets stuck in the beginning because it's carboned up or gooped up. That will clean it, and if the noise goes away, you just got a real cheap fix. Cost you $40 or something to fix your car, right? Now, if not that, the tensioner itself could be gone. You want to pray it's that, because if not, then often the variable valve timing assemblies, they will rattle at the top of the engine. Doesn't matter how tight the chain is. If those things are going out and rattling, then that's a problem. Then I'd say it's got 102,000 miles. Rather than tear the engine down, get rid of the thing. You don't want to start tearing an engine down on a Kia. It costs a fortune, and the rest of the engine's also worn. It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid. You got serious problems. You fix one problem, but the piston rings will be worn, the crankshaft will be, everything will be worn. You don't want to just fix one thing if you're going to tear an engine apart. And to rebuild an engine costs you $5-6 grand or more. So try the simple fixes first. Pray it fixes. And if not, I'd say get rid of it. Well, if you watched a video I did the other day where the FEMA guys said, oh, we don't have any disaster funds left for any more hurricanes. It turns out that the IG report says the agency is sitting on billions of dollars. Of course, they always say they don't have enough money, so they try to get more money from the government, right? I mean, all the government does these days is borrow money and then spend it. For the first time ever, the interest on the borrowed money was $1 trillion. And of course, the principal will never get paid off, and they can barely pay the interest. Anybody that's involved in the government just, oh, it's an endless supply of money. We'll just say we don't have any left, we need more. An Inspector General noticed FEMA estimated that 847 disaster declarations with $73 billion in unliquidated funds remained open. So, of course, they're bureaucrats, all of them. They've got all these funds that they haven't used, but they say, well, we might use it for some of these things. It'd be like saying, well, I got $8 billion in the bank, but I'm planning on using it for other things, so I can't use it now for an emergency, right? There's a government. They live in another world, right? They don't live in a real world. They live in this bureaucratic fantasy world. So the IG report says, quote, more than $7 billion in unliquidated funds could potentially be returned to the disaster relief fund. But of course, they're bureaucrats. They're going to play with the numbers. Just like when the government, they don't even tell you how much they really are in debt because they always pass it to the next year. Well, it's 2024 now. Let's put that into the budget for 2025 or 2026. We'll put it in the future so it looks like it's not as bad as it is. They're always just changing the numbers around. So turns out they probably aren't out of money, but they'll have to dig into unused funds, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean, right? I mean, the whole thing is just anything the government has to do with money. You know, it's a gigantic mess. It's corruption all over the place. You don't know who to believe, other than most of it is borrowed money that probably will never be paid back. Well, if you're following a dock work strike, here's a good question you might want to answer. How did 50,000 dock workers go on strike at U.S. ports when the ports only had 25,000 jobs? Yes, very interesting, right? Well, it's because of the corruption in the dock workers union. If you watched any of the old movies about, the crime-ridden docks, watch On the Waterfront, good movie anyways, but that stuff, I guess, is still going on because there's a massive gulf in the numbers between those who show up for work and the total membership that they have. And that's because half of the dock workers at the East and Gulf ports are allowed to sit at home collecting container royalties, negotiated decades ago to protect against job losses that resulted from innovation. So they got a bunch of guys sitting, collecting money, these container royalties of each container, not working. Kind of like farmers getting paid not to grow crops, right? Only this is for the dock workers. So that's how they say 50,000 of them went on strike, but they've only got 25,000 jobs because the other ones are sitting on their butts collecting money doing nothing. Yeah, if that doesn't smell of corruption, I don't know what does. The Waterfront Commission found, and I quote, the absolute control of the International Longshoremen's Association over hiring in the port over 60 years has not only led to a lack of diversity and inclusion in waterfront employment, but also in the perpetuation of criminality and corruption. So that's how 50,000 went on strike, even though only 25,000 of them actually work at the docks. It goes on, baby. It goes on. Well, you might have seen that hilarious video where Ben Affleck's electric Ford Bronco breaks down on the side of the road with the sun. He's got to get it towed away. Now, this is an electric Ford Bronco, but you can't buy one. It is a custom-made one. You can see it's an old body style. It was built by a company called Gateway Bronco. And as they said, and I quote, building this custom EV Bronco as a surprise birthday gift for Ben Affleck was a milestone project for all of us at Gateway Bronco. Well, maybe you should have done a better job building it. People spend insane amounts of money electrifying vehicles. I mean, you could do it if you got the money. For example, Neil Young, he has a 1959 Lincoln Continental he had electrified, and he spent $500,000 building it, right? Old Neil tries to sing like he's a man of the people, but he spent $500,000 on his electric Lincoln Continental. It's not like you're going to buy one of these EV Broncos. Maybe one day they'll make EV Broncos, and then hundreds of thousands of people can be stranded as the things break down. In this case, it's a one-off. And what do they care? They got to wherever they were going and they towed it away to get it fixed somewhere. Not good PR for electric cars, and especially that company, you know? It's kind of like, think about when Genesis hired the famous golf player, Tiger Woods, right, to drive around in a Genesis. Then he wrecks the thing and smashes up and gets injured, can't play golf for a while. He never really came back after that, so bad idea to use these high-level people as profile for your company when things don't work out all that well. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.